wants money from me. And now, I'm without my daughter with a gold digger getting all my money. You know? That's what pissed me off. I did all the sacrifice for my daughter. You know, and where the fuck is she now? Now a dog stabbed me in the back. Big slap, you know. And I'd be honest with you, if I had my daughter, I would not marry this woman. I would just use her for sex. I would buy paid her for sex. I would say, you know what? You want money, I want sex. I'm going to swallow my load, I'll give you $50. I'm out 60. You know, that's what you got to do with these type of women. You don't fucking marry these kind of women. You fucking just pay them for sex, what you do. You know? And so now, I'm stuck without my daughter. I got a gold digging wife.
Well, you said you have a computer, right?
Huh?
You said you have a computer?
I'm going to be buying one in a couple of weeks.
Oh, my God. Get with the program, man.
I had to pay $350 a traffic ticket.
Dan, I got an excellent way now to pick up women. You're not going to believe this.
You know what?
I got my TV show back.
Are you serious?
It's back on the internet, live. I got a cam, and I just go on and sing songs and.
So it's not public access on the webcam.
Right, but you let people know, hey, I got a show. Just enter in Dan Menendez and Jerry Cantor, and go to Ustream.com and enter in Jerry, and then you pass out your cards, and then you get viewers.
How many jobs are you working out, Jerry?
Just the one job.
Man, I'm so burned out. I'm working 3 fucking jobs, man. I'm working 7 days a week, day and night. The only time I'll have is Friday morning, afternoon. I work Friday night by fundraising. I'm working fucking 7 days a week, 35 hours a week I'm working.
And why are you doing this? For what? Let me ask you, have you made a mortgage payment in the past year and a half? Even one?
No.
Fuck no.
I'm not going to take a mortgage payment.
Unbelievable.
But
this just goes to show you how stupid these mortgage companies are, because they give you a loan, you don't make a payment on it for 24 months, and they say, well, just go ahead and just stay in the house, and you make all this money in the last 2 years, and you got $1,000 in the bank.
Well, because I was only working like 20, 30 hours. I was sick for a year. I was only working at bullshit AD&D job. I was working like 20 hours a week. I was not working like I am now. I started doing this a couple of months ago.
Dan, you've been working 2 jobs for the past 5 years, and I know you. Well, I know you for like 15 years.
Jerry, I'm paying child support. That's fucking me up right there, child support. Fucking me up.
What, $50 a week? That's half a car payment.
I'm paying child support. My wife is taking money. I got to support my wife, man. It's not fucking cheap at all. She buys everything name brand. Everything's fucking expensive. Let me let you go. I'm at home, man. I'm not about to go hit the bed, man. Well, I gotta give my wife this shit right now.
All right, I got a call coming in. See. Hello.
Oh, Jerry, I thought you were live on the phone right now. Somebody.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, well, are you taking phone calls right now? I interrupt your show, man. We like this. This is good.
That's all right.
Is everything okay?
Yeah.
All right. Keep going with your show, okay?
Well, you can talk. That's what you called for.
Okay, I want to give a shout out. Are you taking phone calls live on your show right now?
Yeah.
All right, it's Rob Dog. Hey, it's Rob Diggity Dog on a Monday night going live. And one of my people from my room, the Dog Lounge, represent. Raven is his name. He's going to be coming to your show. I gave him the link to your show, so he can enjoy the Jerry Cantor sing-along show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, so I just want to say 2 times to Jerry Cantor, 2 times to the Dog Lounge, and 2 times to my girl Josie. She's looking pretty fucking sexy now. You know what I mean?
All right.
Have a good night. 2 times.
See you. 69 times. Isn't that amazing? All right. Contacts. Let's see who we can call. I don't want to call any of those people. Wake them up. Oh, we have a private call coming in here. Except I didn't know it was coming in. I got to turn it on. Hello.
Hey, baby.
What's up? I can hardly hear you. Let me make it louder. I don't know how to call you.
You don't know how to call me, Rob?
Oh, you know what the problem is I don't have the speaker on. Hold on. Are you there now?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Going on, going. So who were you just talking to?
A friend of mine who used to live with me for a couple of years.
That's cool.
Tell him how to pull the bank gimmick.
Yeah, what's going on with this bankrupt gimmick?
Well, I was working for this gas station for the past year and a half, and the state of Florida was screwing with my mind. I'm looking at the lottery picks every day, the pick 3 and the pick 4, and one day I decided to play a Fantasy 5, right? Fantasy 5. Wait, let me back this thing. A Fantasy 5, right? A Fantasy 5. That's a Fantasy 5 for you. So, I played, check this out. You can write these numbers down. I played a 3, 8, 10, 13, and 19. So I said, let me play one more just in case I'm close, I'm going to play 3, 8, 10, 13, and 20. Right? Well, I looked at the results the next day, and I'm like, nope, didn't win. Right? So I'm looking at the results, the next couple of days, and about a week or two later, it came out 3, 8, 10, 13, and 19. I said, get the fuck out of here. If I would have played this thing for 5 or 6, consecutive times, I would have won, or 10 times, whatever. And it was $225,000. So I laughed. I go, I never had it in the first place, so, screw it.
You won $225,000?
Are you listening to me? I didn't play it. I played it one time, and a couple of weeks later it came out because the state sees me buying the ticket on the camera, and I slide my card to pay for the tickets. So it's an electronic transaction. And they see Jerry Cantor's playing the Fantasy 5. Let's screw with his mind and have the numbers come out a couple of weeks later. So I'm looking at the results and I'm going, 3, 8, 10, 13, 19. This is fucking horrible. Let me check this again. 3, 8, 10, 13, 19. I said, get the fuck out of here. And I go, okay. Then I figured it out about it, a couple of months later what they did. It's like, they like the slide of the hand. Oh, look at that magic, So I start looking at the pick 4s and pick 3s, and it keeps coming out 237, 238, my old home phone numbers, right? Which stands for my brothers and sisters' initials, Gary Bruce Cantor and Barbara Helene Cantor. Geez, what a coincidence. 237, 238, Barbara Helene Cantor, Gary Bruce Cantor. So I'm at work the day before the Kentucky Derby, and I'm playing around these numbers, all week, trying to figure out a combination that's going to come out, because it always seems to come out my family's initials. So I'm going 237, 238. So if I go 2378, I go, well, what if I take out one of the numbers? Well, let's say I take out the 3, which stands for C for Cantor, and now I've got Gary Bruce, Barbara Helene. And I go, well, I got a sister named Andrea Beth. Well, that's too many numbers that are low. There's 20 horses running. So I'm going A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, M, and I'm stuck on the M and the N. My dad's name is Martin. I go, no, they scratched the M horse that day, so I knew right away that I was going to win this race. The M had this big cut on him, a big gas. Geez, I wonder where that came from. They fixed the damn race. So I go, wait a minute. I got a brother named Paul. And I go, wait a minute. Gary Bruce, Barbara Helene, Paul. I said, oh my God, I just figured out what the results are for the Kentucky Derby. Right? I stood up and I said, oh my God, I just figured out what tomorrow's race is going to be in the Kentucky Derby. I figured it out. It's a fix. The government's fixing the race. And so I'm going to the one girl at work, she screams at me, play the number. So I go, I'm going to play it now. So I'm ready to drive to the track. And all of a sudden, the road changed on me. They were working on construction. I couldn't get to the racetrack on the right side because I had to go to the left. So I had to go to the left side of the road. So was so busy getting on the left side, I lost my concentration on even why I was going, where I was going. I passed the track up. I said, I'll just play the number tomorrow. I won't forget to play my family. So I go to the track the next day with my roommate, and what happened? I forgot to play because these forces, they stopped me from accomplishing. It was like a short. I couldn't go back to remember yesterday to play the number. I was going there specifically to play 278 16, and it came out 8-16-2-7, $550,000.
Wow, Gary.
And I didn't play it.
Question.
What?
This is a really serious question.
Yeah.
Has anyone in your family ever been diagnosed with schizophrenia?
Yeah, probably just me.
Just you. You're diagnosed with schizophrenia?
Well, I would say I was misdiagnosed.
You were misdiagnosed with it?
Yep.
Did they give you lithium?
Nope. Haldol. I was kidnapped in 1983, shot up with drugs at the crisis center, and this crazy psychiatrist goes, "Oh, you're not well. You need to go to state hospital." I said, "For what, bitch?" And she says, "Well, you're a danger to yourself and others." Like, who am I a danger to besides you? Because I'm about ready to smack this lady if she don't get me out of this, the situation I'm in. So she says, "Well, you can write a letter to the judge, and if they let you go, I'll let you go." So I go, "Dear Your Honor, I am not a paranoid schizophrenic. I'm a natural-born genius. I classify myself as the United States government top-secret tested baby genius created through artificial insemination. I personally called the White House and identified myself as Superman, and they traced the call, and they subliminally hypnotized me and programmed my life. So then when I called back a few hours later, after I realized that I was Superman, that there was a major earthquake in like Turkey and 50,000 people died, I called, and I was a very concerned citizen, and I said, "I would like to talk to Ronald Reagan. This is Superman." And the secretary's like, at 6 o'clock in the morning instead of 2 o'clock, she's like, "How could you be Superman?" I said, "I am Superman." And all of a sudden, the senator gets on. He says, "This is Senator such and such from Minnesota. Or, check this out." I said, "This is Superman." He says, "Seems credible enough to me." And we talked for like 82 minutes, and he told me some bullshit lie. It was so crazy. I was like, "What? Could you repeat what you just said?" And I said, "You must fucking think I'm stupid. Get the fuck out of here. You're full of fucking shit," I told him. And through the whole conversation, wait, how did you know I was lying? Because a very intelligent person would know that somebody's lying and when somebody's not. Right? And one way they can tell you if you're lying or not is by looking at your eyes when you're talking and listening to the voice detections and so forth. Yeah. What?
You hear voices.
I have heard voices when I've had out-of-body experiences, and I've actually seen horse races. Because one time when I was in New York in like 1980, I saw this race, and I think it was the Belmont, and I saw 10-3, and I got up out of the middle of the dream after the dream, and I realized, I said, that wasn't a dream. I said, what the hell was that? 10-3. Well, if you take the 10 of the 10th letter of the alphabet and the 3 of the alphabet, that spells JC. Those are my initials. The government was showing me a race with my initials in it, and sure as shit, a week or two later, the Belmont Stakes went off, and when it came out 10-3, I remembered. I said, holy shit, I have a photographic memory. And I knew that at that time that they were trying to relay this message. It was like, aliens are trying to, get messages across to me. So after the Kentucky Derby happened, the race before that, the Belmont of last year, or the year before, my roommate comes knocking on my door and he goes, "Jerry, 6-4. I said, 6-4? What are you talking about? He says, "This is the order of finishing today's race." I said, "What?" So I said, if I play 6-4-1-2, 6-4-1-3, 6-4-1-5, 6-4-1-7, 6-4, I said, it'll cost me $98 to play all the combinations of 6-4. And even though it's a 30-1 shot, what the hell? If the 6 comes out and the second favorite comes in second, I'll win. So he convinces me, because I said, where are you getting this information from? He doesn't know. The government subliminally hypnotized him by watching TV or in a dream. And when we're driving to the track to play 6-4, and he goes, let's go shopping. I'm like, okay. So I lost my interest in going to the track. I would just watch the race on TV, and it came out. I'm like, I said, what was it? I said, I saw the 6 one, but who was the second horse? He says, it was the 4. I said, you idiot, that's what we were supposed to go to the track for. The 6-4-9-8, 6-4-8-9 both paid $47,000 and $48,000. I said, you just cost me $98,000 because you wouldn't take me to the track. Because you got me going to the track, and then you couldn't keep your mouth shut. You go, let's go shopping. So that was the first realization that I thought maybe the house was bugged, or somebody's messing with my mind. So then after the Kentucky Derby happened, I said, holy shit, this is crazy. So then I go, we said this little prayer before we ate dinner, and I said, let's pray to the other side, that we can, figure out, the next race so we can get out of this rut that we're in. And that night, right around 11 or 10 o'clock at night, I had an out-of-body experience, and I saw this race. I swear to God, I could actually hear these horses running by, and I'm hanging over the finish line, and I see 6, 5. I mean, it was 4, 5, 6. So I emailed the news immediately. I said, I had a dream. 4, 5, 6. And I thought it was for the Pimlico, because they showed it to me. And I didn't realize it because I'm from New York, and it was for the Belmont. So then I realized after that race, be quiet, I'll let you know when you can talk. After that race, I went to, I told everybody at work, I said, the 4 is going to win the Belmont. They said, you don't even know who the 4 is yet. I says, I saw the race. Everybody at work's going, the guy's nuts. And the results of that race were 4-2-7-6-5 or 4-2-7-5-6. So I ended up, the 2 was supposed to have been disqualified because it interfered with the other 4 horses down the stretch. And they were looking at it going, well, if we disqualify the 2, then Jerry Cantor's theory would be proven that the government has the technology to get messages to people in their sleep. Sort of like what happened with 911. The government knew that 911 was going to happen, and what they did is they subliminally hypnotized children of the parents that used to work for the World Trade Center, and showed them a video of the World Trade Center being bombed. So when they woke up, they said, "Mommy, mommy, daddy, daddy, don't go to work. Don't go to work today." So some of the kids' parents listened, and they were like, "Oh my God, where did they know? Where did they get this information from?" The government knew that this was going to happen. Is it what?
Let me ask you a question.
What? Go ahead.
When was the first time that you ever had hallucinations?
They weren't hallucinations. They're called out-of-body experiences.
Okay. When was the first time you ever had an out-of-body experience?
Oh, one time when I was a kid, I remember having the first one that I heard like this noise, and I tried to stop, and I go, no, no, no. And all of a sudden, I was like at peace. And I could just feel this image. And I said, when am I going to die? And
How old were you?
Around probably 8 or 10. And no answer was answered, but then I came back into my body and I said, Daddy, Mommy, I just had a bad dream, and they, they let me stay in the bed, and we were, and they would say, it's okay. And next time I had another out-of-body experience, I've had several of them. One time when I was in college, this girl was talking about him. Her name was Linda, and it was around April 18th, 1983, and I saw her, and she said, Jerry, open up your eyes. Or she said, open your eyes. So I opened up my eyes, and I'm like looking at the ceiling going, holy shit, I'm not in my body because I can't move. What the hell's going on here? So I closed my eyes, and I was on the astral plane, and I floated down it, and then I saw my nephew Chuck, and I'm like, Chuck, how are you? And all of a sudden, I came back into my body, and I went into my parents' room again, and I'm 21 years old at the time, and I said, Mom, I said, this is the most incredible thing. I said, I just had a dream about Chuck and Linda. And you know what? Linda called me the next day. She said, whoa, Jerome, what the hell was that? Did you just have the dream last night? I said, I sure did. I said, Dad, Mom. I said, Dad, get on the phone and listen to her. So I said, Dad, I said, the phones are bugged. I said, they want to know if they got a message to me or not. So then my nephew Chuck called and said, thanks for wishing me a happy birthday. I said, oh, happy birthday. That's right. Your birthday is, what, today? Tomorrow or what? He says, no, it was yesterday. And I was like, that's why I had the dream with him in the out of body experience with him.
Okay, what about this, all this with the government? This is the first time that you thought that the government was out to get you.
The government's out to get me.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I know too much. You know, ever since I called the White House in 1983 and said I was Superman, they've been monitoring my phone calls through the house, through cell phone usage, even at work. Wherever I work, they know where I'm going. They know everything I say. So listen to this. So now another time, right? I had that feeling, the same feeling that that I had at work. This lady came up to me and she says, Jerry, I've been working here 18 years. Her name's Terry, and she says, I've been working here 18 years. And I have no money. I said, you know why you have no money, Terry? I said, you play these stupid lottery scratch-off tickets. The most you can win is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, or $50 for $1 or $2. And they're fixed. The only people that win are the people that they want to give the money to. When they scratch off that ticket, oh, what a surprise. I just won $100,000. I can't believe it. You got to be a hell of an actor. But they know where all these tickets are going and who's going to get them and when. They rig it. So now I said, let's pick out a pick 4 for you and play it tonight. It'll cost you $24. I said, if you win, you win $5,000. So I said, what are your 2 favorite numbers? She goes, 3 and 5. I said, well, according to the Jewish religion, what they do is they take the American letters and translate them into the numbers. So if you like the 3 and 5, that's C and E. I said, who do you know in your family that starts with a C and an E? And she goes, well, my daughter's son, Chance, and my brother's son, Eric. So 3 and 5. I said, what about your sister, Dorothy? She says, I didn't like her. I said, well, who else do you know? She says, well, my daughter, Fortuna, and my brother, Gunnard. So I said, well, then your lucky numbers are 3, 5, 6, 7. So I wrote all the numbers down, all 24 combinations. And I said, there's only 2 possibilities for this to come out. Only 2 possibilities. It's either going to be 3, 5, 7, 6 or 7, 6, 3, 5. Are you with me? Hello?
Hi, Jerry. Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, so I'm driving home I'm talking to myself going, Jerry! What? This is the same feeling that you had for the Kentucky Derby, that you fucked up and you didn't play the $550,000 and the chance before that when your roommate. There's people trying to help you, Jerry. I said, who's trying to help me? He says, the government and now the state. The state knows that they just heard you say 3, 5, 7, 6. So 3, 5, 6, 7, and you figured out the only 2 combinations it could be are 3, 5, 7, 6 or 7, 6, 3, 5. Your bank will let you take out the $400, play $200 on both the numbers, you'll get $1 million. I'm like, what? Yeah, it's a sure thing. And I said, it's a sure thing? Oh, yeah, so when I play it, then they'll move the numbers around and I won't get it, right? Oh, no, Jerry, this is the time. Please don't mess this up. You are a United States government top secret test tube baby genius created through artificial insemination. They know who you are. The state's trying to help you. They're trying to catch us. You'll never have to work again. You can retire. And I said, you mean the lottery's fixed? Yes. I'm like, all the times I've been playing the lottery that I thought I could win, and that's why they messed with my mind when the damn it came out 3, 8, 5, 3, 8, 10, 13, and 19. Yes! I'm like, I said, bullshit. I said, fuck you. I ain't playing those fucking numbers. They ain't my numbers anyway. And I said, Jerry, you think about this. And I'm like, I am not playing the numbers. And you know what? I said, I'm 100% sure that those numbers are coming out tonight, but I'm not playing them because I don't want the state's dirty money. The state's lottery is fixed. So I don't want the money. So the next day when I go to work, Terry says, you know if my numbers came out tonight? I said, yeah, I'm pretty sure they did because I was talking to myself driving home. And I'm like, we look, and I'm like, wait a minute, maybe we got the wrong day. I said, what was yesterday's date? She goes, well, it was on Veterans Day. And I said, what was yesterday's date? The 17th? And I'm like, I said, what were your numbers again? 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4. She says, no, 3, 5, 7, 6. And I'm like, 3, 5, 7, 6, 3, 5? I thought, oh my God, it came out. I lost $1 million because I didn't play. Or if I would have put $100 on each number, I would have won $500,000. And I'm screaming at myself, play the number, $100 on each, and then take $200 and bet it 8.5 times, or just bet 16 times and put $400 on it. Jerry, you're stupid. And I was like having this nervous breakdown, talking to myself, trying to play this, and I'm like, I said, the state broke my mind, broke my heart by messing with my mind, working for them for the past year and a half, selling lottery tickets to people, taking their hard-earned money in investing into a ticket that had no chance of winning because they don't know the combination, the correct combination to play. But what the state does is they let intelligent people or certain people like me inside somehow through magic that they have the ability. Because every time I look at the lottery, I go, man, I was thinking about playing 718 because the Yankees won the World Series, and the next day it came out 718. And I'm from Brooklyn, and I'm like, oh, man, this is crazy.
Jerry,
So, yeah.
the special ability that you have to, like, know the lottery numbers and know who's going to win the horse races,
Yep.
I think you got it.
I'm not sure where I got it. I think it's more or less life is a dream, and it's just like that song, Life is a Dream, the lucky one. You got the world in your hand, got all you want. It won't change a thing, you're the lucky one. I am the lucky one. But I don't want the money. Money is the root of all the evil. And money isn't going to buy me happiness. What would buy me happiness is a girl that cared about me and where I, could share my life with and have kids with. Having $500,000 or $1 million wouldn't make me happy to I could have put, had an unlimited amount of money to win. And I chose, what I did was I showed the state, I said, I rejected their offer. It's like playing basketball with somebody and blocking the shot. Block. No, I don't want it. And you know what the state's going? This guy's out of his mind. Why did we gave him every hint that to play those numbers, and he didn't play it. Well, maybe he don't want the money.
How do you think that they get into your mind?
Through artificial insemination.
Okay, so you think they put like a chip or something in your head?
Somewhere around there.
Okay, when do you think that happened? Do you ever remember like getting kidnapped or anything?
Yeah, well, when I was kidnapped in 1983, I was shot up with drugs, and right before they admitted me into the crisis center, there was this big, that emergency broadcast signal. All of a sudden, it was like 12 o'clock. It was like a couple minutes before 12, and they said the following is a broadcast of the National Emergency Broadcast System, and I'm like, all right, and this is only a test, and I'm saying to myself, oh my God, I'm involved in something so big they're gonna blow up the world. And then doors opened up, and they shot me up with drugs, and we have the test tube baby genius. And I'm like, we're going to kill him if we don't get, $1 million. Who knows what they're doing? And they're just, saying, he'll make it. He's a fighter. And And I'm from New York where 9/11 happened. Jeez, I lived 10 blocks away from where the World Trade Center was. It's like I'm my own stockbroker. I have unlimited amount of money to ways to make money. Yeah.
Did you have something to do with 9/11?
I didn't have anything to do with it. I just know that the government has enough information with their intelligence to know that something was going to happen, especially when Bin Laden's going on the radio. Oh, man, something big's going to happen. And it was like 9/9 when they play this on the radio. And I'm like, oh, boy, the United States has no idea what's going to happen next. And they have the worst security for planes. Israel, 0 hijackings, 0 plane bombings. And America, they just have they don't think. They just go on, oh, you know, if we die, we die. You know, they don't care. So just recently, on Christmas, that one guy from Nigeria tried to blow up a plane. Government knew about that too. And maybe they just made it try, you know, they go, aha, what you had wasn't going to go off. We just wanted to make a statement. Because you know what the government said? Nigeria, if you blow up one of our planes, we'll blow up the world. And the Nigerians said, well, we'll just make it look like we were going to do that. Or maybe they're trying to end the world. Like these are the last of the times.
Jerry.
Yeah.
So, do you think that they implant things in your house or something so they know what you're saying at all times?
Well, I used to think that the house was bugged, but then when I realized when I was at work, and my boss, the ex-boss, told me, you know, these numbers, I go, there's got to be somewhere. They just got a surveillance system at work. I says, no, they don't, I don't know if it has voice or not, but there's no way that they can know. I felt when I was driving home that day, talking to myself, that there were these screws being turned into my head. Like I'm going, Jerry, like my antenna was trying to rise out of my head. And I'm like, oh boy, this is that feeling again. They're just trying to get my last dollar, you know, and I'm like, I'm not doing it. You know what? I knew that the numbers were coming out, and I didn't bet because I don't take bribes. You can't bribe me. Yeah. So now that you're all tired from hearing all of this. Oh, this is being recorded. I forgot to tell you that I've been recording this whole thing. I don't know if it's still going. Has it started? I wonder how long it'll last. Is there a limit on how long a thing can last?
No, I think you can record as long as you like. You recorded it to post it on your Ustream gimmick?
Right.
Oh, that's awesome, Jerry.
Yeah. So you can just toss your recording out, but you probably want to keep a copy of it after you can get it off of mine. But this is, it's the most incredible information. It's the most incredible information that, for example, I went into an attorney's office back in 2001, right after 9/11 happened, and I started telling him a whole bunch of information. He says, Jerry, he says, I started banging my head against the wall. I said, what the hell am I involved in? And I said, hey, you know, that night, a federal helicopter was flying over my house, and I'm like talking to somebody on a phone, starting to cry, and I can just hear like this plane, like I was in like, you know, I was having like a breakdown, like I was in a war, and they're fighting, and I'm like, you know, and I'm like crying. So I know, and then I went outside, right? And my two roommates that I had at the time were outside, and I said, you see that plane flying over there? I said, they were just recording federal information on the phone, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm involved in some sort of Eisenberg, or some kind of crazy Jewish shit, and I'm like, what the fuck? And it's just crazy that, you know, all the information that I know, you know, when the St. Pete Times got a hold of the information right after Easter, they attempted to slander me, saying in a Capricorn zodiac message in like 2002, they were saying it's just a question of time before the public finds out about this private family matter, and then like a day or two later, the Tampa Tribune said, "Don't testify. Don't testify against government geniuses, government secrets, and it will be okay. Take it one day at a time." And I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. So, I realized whatever I'm involved in, it's huge.
Wow, Jerry, that's insane.
So check this out. Oh, about 9 months later, or 9 months, let me see, 5 months later, I drove up to meet a girl in the Massachusetts area and took her to a Devil Rays game. Met her on September 6th, 9/6, and took her to this game, and the final score of the game was 9/6. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. It's impossible. Well, I looked it up online, the actual baseball game, and there's a quote in there by Stanley Cohen saying something to the effect that the baseball score is indicative of the all-knowing mind. There's a purpose for the reason why the game that I had to go to that day, the score was 9/6. And that's why, because I met this girl on 9/6. And right after I met her, there was fireworks. And I'm like, what the hell was that? She says, oh, that's fireworks we have in this town every year. And I'm like, what?
Jerry,
Yeah.
you ever notice that sometimes your thoughts that the government, is following you and whatever,
Right?
are sometimes more realistic than other times?
No, it's a definite, they're limiting me, like a little pet and, being controlled in a cage. And that's what it was when I was driving home. It was mind control. When I was going to the track to try, I couldn't remember to play my own family. Come on, 2, 7, 8, 16. How could I forget? I just worked it out, 10 hours before, and I forgot because they were controlling me to not play it, and then to watch it and see it come out. And I'm like, wow. I think the recording stopped. Oh, no, okay. So I couldn't play it even if I wanted to because they were controlling me. They're going, he's not going to do it. Vegas is probably going, he's going to do it. We'll lay you odds. And Cantor's going to play 2, 7, 8, 16. He knows the information. No, he's not. When they hired me at the company that I work for now, there was helicopters flying over about 4 of them flying over the day that they hired me. And they told me, says, when we hired you, that day there was 4 helicopters flying over. Duh! And I'm like, oh my God. And I said, now I know why the 4 helicopters were there. And, I told some of the people there at work that I said, I'm a genius and all this. And, Jerry, if it's meant for you to hit the lottery, you'll win. And it was like, when he told me that this one guy I work with, his name's Tony, he's a very rich man, and he told me, he says, Jerry, he says, gambling is evil. It's against the Jewish religion to gamble, to cast stones. But, if you gamble, you might lose, and then again, you might not. But it's evil. The money that you win is the devil's money. You don't really need it to, you just need a job to work and survive. And that's when I said to myself, I'd rather work for my money than have it just given to me, even if I knew that, that I was going to win the lottery. It's fixed. So back in 1983, getting back to that, I went on this business trip to Colorado. This guy says, oh, we have a contract for you out there. And I said, okay, go out to Denver and see Howard Pendyke, and there's a contract. So I go all the way out there, and there's another guy there instead of him telling me that they no longer have a contract for me. I said, I got there a day late because I got into this cab, and the cab drivers get stepping on the gas and moving it back and forth and going slow, and then finally it's like $5 after 2 blocks, and I'm like, I said, stop the cab, and what is this? So he gets out of cab, and I says, you, and I $5 down his shirt, and I got in, and he told me that they had a contract for me, but it expired because I didn't get there that day. And as a matter of fact, it was the day after Martin Luther King's birthday. Isn't that crazy? I just remembered. So I know that whatever I'm involved in is something huge. So I picked up a very good day for to broadcast this particular message, because you see, Martin Luther King, he was a very smart man, but he didn't know how to keep his mouth shut. Kind of like me. I use my ability to let people broadcast and advertise who I am, and I have my MySpace that explains everything, and you can move all the what you want, but the fact of the matter remains is that I did accomplish what I did. What?
Gary, do you think the government's watching you right now?
Probably they are. Probably.
You know what I heard?
What?
That if you put tinfoil over your head, they can't get to that chip that's in there.
Oh, there you go. Well, it may not be there. It might be somewhere else, so I don't know what to tell you. But, we do have 5 watchers tonight, so it's going up. The viewership's going up. But I'll tell you, it's funny that when I was kidnapped in 1983, or actually it was 84 by that time, and I wrote a letter to this judge, and I says, man, I'm in this... Quiet, don't talk, because you're fading in and out, and going over my voice. So I write a letter to this judge, and I said, dear Your Honor, I am not schizophrenic. I went to Brooklyn Technical High School in New York, and I was misdiagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic by Dr. Balsam Fanous in the Northside Community Mental Health Center. And the male psychologist there, who didn't have a personality conflict, told her that he's a natural-born genius. And I said, please contact the FBI, the CIA, Missing Children's Awareness Foundation, and let them know that I've been kidnapped and I'm here against my will. And I'm standing outside, and they said, we had orders for you to stand here at exactly 5 o'clock, and 3 U.S. Air Force jets flew over where I was. And it was like being at a football game. And it was like, I said, I know I'm involved in something so big. I'm going to be somebody someday. And nobody can knock me down. And it's sad. And the government was so smart that they just said, hang in there. So I did. And I got back to Tampa, and I've picked up the pieces and managed to get a home and nice cars, and then yeah.
Can we rewind for a minute?
Do what?
Can we rewind back to 83 when the aliens abducted you to put the implant in your brain?
Well, that wasn't 83. That was in 1963, the year JFK was assassinated.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I got this mixed up.
Yeah.
Yes. So in 83, you called Ronald Reagan, right?
Correct. That was right after
On
the...
the phone?
Do what?
Did you actually get him on the phone?
No, they would not wake him up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
They wouldn't wake him up for you, but
No.
I mean, come on now. You're like the government's test baby. How can
Well,
they not wake him up?
They didn't... I wasn't important enough to him up. And they subliminally hypnotized me to chase the call. So...
If you're somebody commenting in your room.
Well, I'm not looking at that, so...
It's okay, Karen. It's okay. So, you didn't get to talk to Ronald Reagan,
Do what?
You didn't get to talk to Ronald Reagan, but they hypnotized you over the phone.
Yeah, they traced the call, and then I called back after the phone hung up 82 minutes later, and I called, or 81 minutes later, some crazy number, and then I called back about 4 hours later after I woke up, and the secretary starts screaming at me, "You can't be Superman." I said, "I am." And all of a sudden, the senator gets on from some certain state like Minnesota, and he says his name, and he offers to send me his picture. And I'm like, he says, "Yeah, I'm firmly convinced this is Superman." He says, "I got your file right in front of me, buddy." And I said, "If you do," I said, "what's my name?" He wouldn't tell me. And he says, "Do you want me to send a picture of you?" I says, "Who are you? What state do you represent?" I said, "I never heard of you, but you've heard of me, and you got my picture in front of you." You know, I said, you know, and he says, "Well," he says, "Do you have any idea how to get out of the rut you're in?" And I said, "No." And he says, "You got to keep using the hand that we gave you." I said, "What?" I said, "How do you know whether or not I've been laid yet or not?"
Jerry, I have an idea.
What?
You know, times have changed, and we have a black president now. It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Yeah.
Maybe you should try calling Obama.
Oh, no. No more calls to the White House for me, buddy. There is absolutely no way. But this is just as good as calling the White House, because when I play this, somebody with media connections is going to play it back to Obama, and they'll go, "We have no recollection of a Jerome Cantor calling the White House in 1983. You can't talk over me when I'm talking. We have no recollection. When I stop talking, you can talk. It doesn't sound good when you're talking at the same time as me. You're conducting the interview. It's just like when Ronald Reagan was talking, and all of a sudden this interviewer kept raising his hand. He said, "Mr. President," and Ronald Reagan's talking, and he said, "Will you shut up?"
Okay, Jerry.
Yeah, that's what he said.
I have an idea, though.
You have what?
Maybe you should post this on, like, ABC's website.
Whose?
ABC, you know, the news station, ABC News.
Oh, no, well, I'm sure that somebody, well, with connections will say, "Check this lunatic out. He thinks he's the wayward son." There's the old song that goes, "Carry on, wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Though my eyes can see, I still was a blind man. Though my mind could think, I still was a madman. I hear voices when I'm dreaming. I can hear the voices say, 'Carry on, wayward son.'"
All right, Jerry, that's interesting.
So, you got anything, final words to say to the public, or?
Hey, Jerry, it's Rob live from Bayshore in South Tampa. How are you?
What's up?
Happy MLK Day.
Oh, you too, man. See, a very appropriate day for me to get this all out on the media, right?
Oh, it's good. I'm glad you're recording this. The fans
Yeah.
need to see this, need to hear this, too.
Yeah.
You told me back in the day that helicopters used to jump your house, you used to have in the ghetto.
Yeah, one time, right? Channel 8 was flying over my house. This was probably around in April of 2002, right around when that, you know, when I placed an ad in the Tribune, and it went, and the St. Pete Times was trying to slander me, and Channel 8 was there going, "We're right over there, we're right over Jerry Cantor's house. He works for the Tampa police, raising funds for the Fraternal Order Police." And, you know, they're conducting this big interview outside the office, too, when I was working there one of the years. And they're going, "Well, you know, where does this guy get a, you know, how can he get a job here? And, you know, what are the qualifications? And are these people identifying themselves as police officers? And what are they doing in there? How much money do they make? And where do they, you know, are they declaring their money?" And all this bullshit. And it's amazing that, you know, this country is built on, you know, investing your money and buying lottery tickets, and people just do it because
It's a horrible waste of money, and you're exposing the lottery here in Florida.
Oh yeah, the Florida State Lottery.
It's amazing that this hasn't gone out onto the news, Jerry. Why has this not been on Big News Night?
Oh, it will be. This will be on the news. And you know what? After you came into my store, and after you came into my store, that's when I just had that episode. The manager has the Coke delivery guy come in at 5:45 in the morning. He knows he's not supposed to be at the store till 7. So I'm screaming at him. I said, we don't take deliveries till 7 o'clock in the morning. Get out of the store. But I made a special trip here. I'm not going to come back. I said, I don't care if you don't come back. Get out of the store. So anyway, he just starts unpacking all this stuff. And the manager screams at me as soon as she comes in at 6:30 in the morning. I told you not to. And I figured out she told him to do it. So then I come in Saturday, and she says, Jerry, she says, you didn't clean the grill last night. And I said, yes, I did, because or she came in Sunday, it was, and she said, yes, I did, because it was clean before I got there. And I said, you didn't clock out, you didn't end your shift properly in the middle of the shift last night. I said, yes, I did, because a customer came in and bought a coffee from me, and I told him I couldn't end the shift until he bought the coffee. So you don't know what you're talking about. He said, I ought to fire you for insubordination. And I said, I said, just do your job. And I said, I'm not going to deal with this bitch anymore. So I quit, and that's why I left. The lady's nasty.
Jerry, what do you think? Maybe perhaps. Now this is a long shot guess. Do you think maybe perhaps your ex-manager and this Coke delivery guy had something to do with watching over you in a way?
No,
I mean,
it was. She just wanted to get rid of me. She didn't like me. I was the best employee there for the company. Always made the coffee for everybody. Was always fresh. Even had one customer in tried it. I just made the coffee, and he's like, "This is the worst coffee I ever had. How old is it?" I said, "I just made it about 3 minutes before you came in the store." He said, "Well, I don't like it. I'm not paying for it." I said, "Well, you ain't walking out of the store with it." I said, "Leave this coffee. It's so bad you want to walk out with it, right?" And the manager saw it on the video, and all the people there love me when I tell them all the stories about how I missed the lottery and how my family's numbers, I missed it, it came out, and how I lost the Kentucky Derby and how I lost the Belmont the year before, and she comes in the same day that I had the numbers, and she says, she says, "You're so brilliant. Where are you getting all these numbers from?" And we couldn't figure it out. But then that day when it happened, I knew that it was coming out. 3576 or 7635. No other combination. It was like a perfect direct hit, like an assassination attempt. Boom! It was like shooting a bullseye.
You called me before it happened back in the day. I remember that. Now, Jerry, my question to you is this: you made a very, very interesting comment earlier about you'd rather work for your money than just take for your money, because obviously you knew the results of the Belmont, you knew the results of the Kentucky Derby horse races, and then the lottery and all that. Now, you're going bankrupt for the third time coming up, correct?
Right, yeah, well, it happens, because you'll get overextended.
It does.
This is what happened. I walked into a dealership.
Please let me finish.
Well, okay.
Please let me finish. Jerry, please let me finish. I'm trying to make a point here. And please don't take me wrong for asking this, but Jerry, if you could have had all this money, if money doesn't make you happy, and you want to earn everything, then why are you going bankrupt for the third time? The people need to know this.
Well, what happened? Well, okay, I'm going to tell you. What happened is I bought this pickup truck back in 2005, and I got approved, because I was working for this company, just started working, and I didn't have any debt. And they go, okay, we'll sell you the car. So a year later, I'm like, making, more money than I've ever made, and I walked in there, and I said, well, I'm making $30,000 a year. I'd like to get this pickup truck here, this Hemi here, and so he ran the credit, and he says, what happened to the other truck? I said, I paid it off, and he said, well, I don't know how he did it, but he fudged the numbers, and he told me, he says, you don't qualify for this truck. He says, but what I did was I fudged the numbers so you could get that truck. So I lied on your income to basically, the manager told me, and I'll swear on it on the Bible. He said, I fudged them, and if they get subpoenaed and go to court to find out if I'm telling the truth or not, they have to have records of an application for, an approval of an application. So he lied, gave me the truck, and you know, I was working, I had to go work 2 jobs for the last year and a half. I've been working the 2 jobs. And then when I realized what a scam this whole state is, I said, you know what? I'm not going to go out and get another job. I said, I called up my bankruptcy lawyer. He says, give back the truck. They can't come after you. And then on your other truck, we'll just pay them book value over 5 years. I said, well, that'll save me more, even more money. So it's actually, see, it doesn't matter to me. See, you know, you can take both my trucks. It don't mean anything to me. You know, I've got a home. You can't take my home from me. Right? So, you know, but the point of the matter is when you get overextended, you know, you're working 2 jobs full time to try to keep both trucks. And then all of a sudden, you know, you realize what a scam that you're working for a shyster. I don't know what to call it for the state. You know, all these places that sell lottery tickets. Oh, play the lottery. It's great. You have a chance to win millions. Do you know anybody that's won it? Well, you know, if they did, it's because either pure luck or somebody that they knew in the government or in the state gave them the numbers like they gave me. I can't prove that I was given those numbers, but I do have witnesses at work that saw me sit down there and tell Terry, your numbers are 3, 5, 7, 6. Play them tonight, and you know it's $24 to box it, or play a couple of the combinations and maybe you'll win it. And I'm talking to myself, Terry isn't going to play it. You got to play it for her, Jerry, and play it for yourself as well. And then when you win, you can give her some of the money. And I'm like, fuck her. You know, the hell with her. If she's too cheap, she can't play it. And I'm like, well, just play it for yourself, Jerry. You can get out of debt, and if you lose, then you can go bankrupt. And I'm like, Jerry, you're going to end up going bankrupt anyway. I says, no, I'm not. I'd rather work for my money. And I was like, stop it. And I said, and I know what was going on. They were just trying to put it's government mind control or state mind control. And I could say to myself, I'm not doing it because I'm not going to be bought. If I actually did this, if I bet $100 on 3576 and $100 on 7536 and then boxed it, you know, for another $100 and had it, you know, 8 times. Wait a minute now. I'd be part of the conspiracy. I don't want to be part of this fixing and taking people's money. I played the lottery every time thinking that it's like telling a little kid Santa Claus does not exist. What do you mean he doesn't exist? Oh, how could he go to 7 billion homes in you know, overnight? It's just your mommy and daddy buy the gifts. Oh, man, what a heartbreak.
I totally agree with what you're saying. Jerry, I have a question for you on your show. What is the point of your new show? What is your main goal to get across to the fans in Tampa with your new show?
Oh, just to sing songs, take calls, entertain people. But you know, this particular video, when it hits the news, man, you know, heads are gonna roll, and they're gonna be like, put a stop to this kid. Let's shut him up, just like they did Martin Luther King. You know, he knows too much. Let's find something on him and lock him up and you know, put him in a mental house or you know, or lock him. The guy knows too much. And you know, if you think about it, you know, like I've seen what kind of a life you led when you were in Boise. Tonight, you are a photographic. You got in trouble with the law. The officer told you to turn that camera off, and you know you could have been arrested because you didn't listen to him quick enough. Even though you might not have heard it quick enough. You know, you might have been like, turn it off. Why? You might have said why, and here now you'll find out why you're under arrest. You know, cops see what they want to see and do what they want to do.
Jerry, I think there's somebody in your room. I think this has been a very great conversation. You've got a lot of people watching. You know, this is the most people I've ever seen watch your show, by the way.
Right.
Well, let's open up the phone lines and let's see if anybody else has some questions, comments, or concerns.
Well, the phone hasn't been ringing yet, so you know, if it has, it'd be lighting up.
Okay. I didn't know if they could be calling or not.
Right. So if somebody calls, it'll light up.
You answer. You've got fans. The world is watching you. It's not just Tampa anymore, Jerry. This is the fucking world watching you right now.
Well, you see now, for example, you see what happened in Haiti, you know, last week? Earthquakes. Because what the Taliban is doing is they're digging into the earth, trying to blow it up from the inside out. And they're trying to, you know, through digging and they're probably blowing up, you know, uranium or something, you know, trying to crack this whole earth. And my theory is that the world is going to end on 12/22, 2012, and it's going to be a major nuclear war between maybe Israel and Egypt or Iran or Iraq. Somebody who may get their hands on some bombs, and they're just going to wipe out the whole world and take us all to heaven at once. That's their goal.
Okay. Can you hear if somebody's calling? Somebody says they're calling your show right now in your room.
Nobody's calling my... let me see something. Oh, yeah, Washington. Check this out.
Oh.
Hello, Washington.
Hi, Jerry.
What's up?
What's up, Jerry?
Hi, who's
Good
this?
show.
Hi.
Good show.
Well, thank-
I want to hear more about what you're talking about Boise.
Oh, well, you'll have to watch the replay on this one because that way I don't repeat it twice, and it's I'm recording the whole thing, so I'll just play it and you can look for
really?
it. Yeah.
Can you just tell me another story about Boise? I love Boise.
Boise. Well, I'm a boy. See? But
That's a good joke.
yeah. But what we're doing? Did you have anything else that you want to say, or what are you calling? You got calling from Washington D.C. or Washington State, right?
I'm calling from Washington, D.C.
Oh, really?
Don't be scared, yeah.
Okay. Oh, are you anywhere in the legal field or media?
No.
What do you
I work for the government.
Oh, there you go. So, you can play this back and say, you know what, this guy's making too much sense.
Well, you do. I can't deny that.
So, what do you think about 911 when you saw that the two planes actually when the first plane hit? I had this feeling that there was another plane that was going to come, and the way they were filming it, they were like this, and I'm like, oh man, there's another plane. What's a plane doing so close to the? And I'm like, oh my God, watch this, it's going to hit, and it circled and it hit the other World Trade Center. And I'm like, I said, I knew that was going to happen. Now, if I knew that it was going to happen, how come the government didn't know it? And why didn't they do anything about it?
Well, Jerry, I thought that you would know all about it because you're so connected with the government. Did you know about the other plane that went down in Pennsylvania, too?
Right. I didn't know about it happening until it did. But then when the plane hit the Pentagon, they were looking for the White House. They were really trying to find a White House. But these idiots, they were so brilliant on masterminding how to take an airplane, they didn't know how to look for the White House. They were like, well, where's Pennsylvania Avenue? We're up too high. I don't even know where, well, it's white. Oh, screw it, there's the Pentagon. Let's just hit that. And that's why they did that.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, do you feel safe now?
I wouldn't fly in a plane right now if they gave me a round-trip ticket to Hawaii or anywhere in the world. I was so petrified getting on a plane in 1988 when I won a free trip from DirecTV USSB when I won a trip to India, and I actually took pictures of that's on my website, statuteoflimitations.com with underscores in between the ofs. So it's like statute _ limitations. You can see the entire that I just explained, as well as pictures and proof that I did what I did, and that I'm not just like hallucinating like that one kid in Tampa or St. Petersburg that stole a plane a couple of years ago. I guess it was like 2002. And I'm like typing on my computer, but all of a sudden I hear this boom, right? And I go outside, I go, what the hell is that? And all of a sudden on the news, on the internet, it's like, plane crashes in downtown Tampa building. I'm like, what? This kid steals a plane from St. Pete Airport and crashes it. And I'm like, God, he's crazy. He's absolutely, you think I'm crazy. That kid was probably on some sort of medication or brainwashed by somebody to make a statement. And that's what he said. I'm just going to go out with a bang. I got nothing to live for, and that's why he did what he did. Did I put you to sleep?
That's true. Well, do you have any stories to tell about India? Would that be repeating anything?
Well, I went to Bombay, and I saw Mahatma Gandhi's house, and then I took a train ride to Agra, and the most famous monument there is the Taj Mahal. And then when on the way back, my friend and I were terrorized by a greedy train station manager, and he says, you can't be in the air conditioned car. You have to be in an unair conditioned. He says, no, we pay to be in the air conditioned car. Here it is. And he says, well, no, we need more money. And I said, well, my friend goes, how much do you need? He says, you need $20. He says, I need $50. He says, all I got is $30. And we gave him $30. And everybody's like, it's not their handout. They go, oh, Americans, we can try to terrorize you, or we'll make you suffer and pay more money to get an air-conditioned car and then tell you we want more. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that happens. Well, what do you think about the food?
Didn't like it at all. It was just disgusting. I mean, I ended up getting food poisoning on the last day I was there. Thank God I wasn't there for any longer. I mean, we were like, and it's so sad there. They have no toilet paper. And we go to a place. Some of the hotels, the more expensive ones, had it, but we going around looking around the stores. Do you have toilet paper? What's that? It's what you wipe your butt with when you take. No. So what they do out there is after they go, they just go take a shower, and I'm like, okay, makes sense. It makes you more cleaner. Instead of, but Americans are just like if I do that every time, I'd have to take 2-3 showers a day. Nah, we just use toilet paper.
Well, hey, I gotta go.
Yeah,
Well,
well, don't forget to don't. Yeah, you have a good night.
All right, see you
See
later.
ya, bye. All right. Let me see. Private. Okay, that's it for that. 206. That ain't that was Washington State. Wait, 205 is Washington, but 202 is Washington D.C. So who knows? Anyway, how many viewers we got tonight now here? This is unbelievable information. 8 viewers. Lovely. Of course, Rob's calling all 7 of his friends. You've got to watch this lunatic. Let me turn on my phone. That's probably why I can't hear it ringing. If anybody else wants to call, all you got to do is just pick up the phone. I don't even think it's, I can get it off of vibrate. What's going on here with this thing? Let me see. Silence? No, we don't want silence. We want everything on. Beep, level 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Vibrate. Not on. We don't want the vibrate on. Well, anyway, I got most of it working. So if you want to call up. Don't be shy. You have a phone, don't you? A cell phone, home phone. Pick up the phone. Call. Now, of course, if you're from another country, you're not going to invest any money and call 813. What is my number? Oh yeah, I almost forgot. 952-4103. I don't call myself. So call 813-952-4103. Get a pen, write it down. When it's not busy, call back. But anyway, I can't believe it's Martin Luther King Day, and I finally came out with what I've been saying. We got a whole bunch. Yeah. So, oh boy, is that louder as hell. Maryland. What's up, Maryland?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, this is Jerry.
That's who it is.
Hi, yes, I was instructed to give you a phone call.
Yeah?
And, I'm not exactly sure, but could you please inform me?
Well, you have to go to Ustream.com and then type in Jerry, and you'll watch the replay about, it'll say Martin Luther King story. All right, I got another call. Ustream.com, Jerry. Hello? Contact, hello? Call back, let me see, I got the other number here. We'll call you back. Got free calls. We're calling you back, Connecticut. What's up? Connecticut.
Hello.
What's up? Returning your phone call. Yeah.
So, I'm watching your show here.
Yeah. What do you think about it?
I think you're
doing well. Your numbers are climbing here. I'm
Well.
a Ustream surfer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're working on becoming the #1 rated show without having to, do the gimmick of a, radio or showing, stuff. Just singing songs and taking calls.
Yeah. Well, the higher your number is, then you pick up more followers that way.
Right. Yeah. Everybody follow me.
Yeah. Well, they should. Sometimes people have to listen. Have open minds.
Yeah. If you're closed-minded, you're hurting yourself by not saying, what if everything he said is true tonight? I'll be damned. Life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. Life is but a dream.
Well, I'm Raven Talks, and I do listen. I don't only talk.
All right. Ooh, we don't want to show your number. Okay, yep.
Yep. You can probably see me on screen once in a while, Raven Talk.
Yeah. What do you got, a TV show or a radio show? Or?
No. I'm just a loyal listener to those who are struggling to get out the truth.
All right. The truth will set you free.
There you go, buddy.
All right, have a good one.
If you see my name, Raven Talks, you know it's me.
All right.
Looking in on you.
All right.
Okay? You take care, Jerry. I hope they load up your phone line.
Okay. Yeah. Hello, my fellow Americans. If I was alive right now, I would tell you to watch Jerry Cantor. He is the best thing since Richard Nixon. I am not a liar. A lot of my friends, they don't call me Richard. You know that, right? They say that I remind them more of a dick. So just call me Dick. All right. So, Seattle lady. I think that lady called. No, she hasn't called yet. She probably doesn't have the free long distance calling ability. You there, Seattle lady? You gonna call or just say anything in the chat room? Hello, hi. There we go. I can't keep up. Oh yeah. Well, let's see. I can't keep it up either. It's been a while, but anyway, and you can't keep up. No. What you can do is watch the replay of this. I'm going to call it Martin Luther King Day exposition or something. Martin Luther video clip. People at work will see it, and you show it to everybody that you know and the media, and before you know it, the whole country's going to know about Jerry Cantor instead of Howard Stern. It's Pennsylvania. Howdy, hold on. You're just the person I need to talk to because we need to inform the public about that plane crash in 2001.
You are absolutely right about that.
You know what happened, right?
Yeah, somebody took over the plane and crashed it in a field, and they were heading for the White House.
Yeah, you know what happened is the government knew that these 4 planes were going to be taken over because they even took the numbers of the planes, 9 and 2, which adds up to 11, and I think it was, what was the other flight number, 731 or something like that, and that added up to 11, and they knew that these flights were going to be the ones that would be involved in, come on, you just fill up a plane that's heading from Boston to California with, God knows how many thousands of gallons, and, a couple hours later it crashes into the World Trade Center. Plenty of and then that one plane, when the people, the world moves around, and, cell phone, and you see World Trade Center gets bombed, and you're in, maybe our plane might be going down. All of a sudden you feel your plane go, shh, what's going on?
Yeah, but some people were smart enough to take over the plane.
Yeah. Well, they tried to take over it, but the people, American people, said, no, we ain't going to tolerate that. And said, you can slash your throats or whatever, but you're not going to crash into anything, and we're just taking it down here in the field, buddy. And God bless those people that died.
Those people are the shit.
All right, well, you have a good one.
You too.
That's got to be somebody that, I don't know. That's just crazy. If you call, you can mark your call private if you're shy, just call up private. But it's nice to know where you're calling from, so. All right, well, how many viewers we got now? I've been wondering here. Let's see. I think the computer's starting to freeze up, so I'm going to have to save this before I lose it. And the computer freezes up that I can't save it. Because it's already starting to give me problems. And wouldn't that be like the government wanting to interfere to make sure I can't get this recording out? But hopefully. What's up? Yeah.
I needed the instructions again. This is Maryland.
Right.
How do you go to the video to watch it?
It's not stopping. Jeez.
There's a video on YouTube.
I understand that. It's going to go on. Just type in Jerry Cantor. You can see some of my other shows. But see, right now.
How can I watch it if it's not on there?
I have to stop the recording and then put it on my cover of the Ustream.
All right. I guess I'll have to wait for you.
Yep, stop recording and it's not stopping. Geez, I wonder why